My name is Assam, and this was my first bicycle. To my daughter, I'm Daddy. To my wife, I'm Assam. To the community, I'm the bike guy. And I aspire to be a custodian of place, of the stories that places hold, and bicycles have become the way that I interact with my community and with the environment around me. I'm inundated with bicycles. They seem to fall out of the sky here. I buy them all the time, even if I'm not trying to. And I've collected stories and a history of so many different types of bicycles, and worldwide I've provided parts and new projects for my customers that provide me with some really positive feedback. They share their stories with me. They tell me what they are planning to do or have done with the bicycles and the parts that I provide. So I make sure that people who need a bicycle part, if I have it, I can get it to them efficiently. If they're in Kazakhstan, I just shipped a pair of wheels there today. I buy bikes from locals who sometimes are in a hard place. When I started my business, I had to fill out a lot of paperwork about what the business was going to be. And so I said trading, service, education, and that's what I define my business as. And I tend to focus on bicycles for all of that, but I like to share with people any knowledge that I have about cool places to be in my valley, in our place here. I like to share with people ways to maintain their own bicycle and keep bicycles safe for their families. I didn't meet my grandfather, but he gave this to my mom when she was a little girl and she learned how to ride on this bike. And she was so proud to give it to me when I was learning how to ride a bike. And I remember my dad running behind me, holding onto this seat, and then not letting me know that he wasn't holding onto the seat and pretending that he was while he still ran next to me as I found that freedom that bicycles give us. And then one day, I had this leaned up against my great-grandmother's baby blue Chevy, and I started going into her tool shed and grabbing the tools to start fixing it up and making it work and trying to understand how it worked. And I took this crankset off, and it's still got a little bit, oh no, it's pretty tight feeling now, but there's one ball bearing that's still in the dirt somewhere in that driveway, and I know the place. I might go back and try to find that bearing someday because it's there still. But when I saw all of the ball bearings fall out of this, as a 6-year-old, I had this just epiphany. It wasn't one thing, a bicycle. It was many, many things all working together. And I was immediately intrigued, and I had to take it completely apart and learn everything about it and put it back together and over again. And I've been doing it now since I was 9 years old. My mom gave me this awesome bike for my 10th birthday. It smelled good, it looked good, it was shiny, it had rubber tires that were just meaty with tread. It had cables and housing everywhere on it for brakes on the front and the back. I took it to the racetrack, and it was not a race bike. And I went home, I said to Mom, thank you so much for this bike. And I knew she worked hard to get that for me. I said, I like it, but it's not a race bike. And I needed a race bike. I was gonna go back and I was gonna race. So I said, may I please sell this bicycle and buy a used bicycle that will work for my racing goals? And she said, of course. And so within I'd say just a few days. I found one on the classifieds ads in the newspaper. It was a couple of blocks away. I bought my first racing bike. It was used. It was so much better than any other bike on the track, and it's still one of my favorite bikes that I own in my collection today. We've all seen E.T., and all of those kids having a rad time in E.T. were riding on this model of bike because a production manager went to a bike shop and he had a pile of these that he couldn't have sold otherwise, so he sold them all. This became an iconic bicycle. I had no idea, but I've maintained it, I've restored it, my brother destroyed it, I rebuilt it, and it's my 1981 Kuwahara KZ1 that I bought in 1989 and still raced and won against kids on 1989 bikes. I remember my mentor, Glenn, he helped me to build my first mountain bike. First, I bought all of the pieces and the parts and I brought them to his garage and we laid them all out and he made notes. He made a lot of notes. And next thing you know, I'm holding a piece of paper with a list of tools that I had to go buy before he would help me to even put the bike together. And I thought we were going to build it right then. I thought I was going to be on that bike in 2 hours, you know. And sure enough, it was 3 or 4 weeks later before we finally had all the tools and we had done all of the project and tuned it sweet. And it was worth it because he told me, you can either be a bicycle rider or you can be a cyclist. And if you're a cyclist, that means that you can start from scratch and take parts and maintain a bicycle over the course of its life. And he said, if we build the bicycle with these tools, that means that you need these tools to maintain the bicycle. And it was a great lesson for me that I have used to start this business, but it's also a lesson that's just carried over into non-cycling and other aspects of my life as well. Since I stopped buying children's bikes and told people that I'll simply take them and give them, I have given away hundreds and hundreds, and I almost don't go a single day without seeing several of them being ridden around town. The best paycheck that I can get, or the best payback that I can get from helping with the children's bike is to ask somebody to give it to me so that I can properly service it, make it safe, and without other than that personal investment in the bike to make sure that it's safe and ready, then I can gift it. And when I gift a bicycle to a kid and I get to see the look on their face, the tears pouring out of their eyes, when I get to see them chasing all of their friends around town, I get so many paychecks. I have a passion for the bicycle